In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Primary Arms PLx Compact 1:8 first focal plane optic. This is definitely one of Primary Arms' top of the line optics they have. We'll do an unboxing and overview of this optic, but then also later in the video, we're going to compare side by side to the Primary Arms SLX, which is more of a budget-friendly version they have. And then we also have a Monstrum Archangel 1:8 LPVO, just to get an idea how they compare as far as glass. And we're gonna be shooting them at a ridge about, I think it's like 300 yards away there later in the video. What's up everybody? It's Brian with First Shot Tactical, back with another video for you here today. And today we are doing a quick unboxing and overview of the Primary Arms PLx 1:8x24 first focal plane LPVO. In addition to that, you can't just get your scope because then you can't mount it. So we also have the Primary Arms PLx cantilever mount, so that way we can mount it in. And then in addition to that, I got this, well, it's a top cap reflex mount. Basically, it will replace the front top ring here. So that way I can put a red dot, like an RMR, up top so you have like an offset red dot with your LPVO. This part's optional here, but this one you definitely need if you get this. But either way, let's get everything out of the package here and show you what comes with it. Man, and I gotta say, the packaging on this is super nice. Oh, one thing to note, obviously there's all the features here. If you want, I'll let you pause the screen here so you can read over that for all the specs. Also, in addition to that, this is a first focal plane, so you can see here when it's zoomed out all the way, it looks like just a red dot there. But then as you zoom in, your reticle zooms in with it because it's first focal plane, and that's what it ends up being. They have two options for a reticle. I got the Raptor M8, which is in mils here on this, I believe it is, but there is another option if you're interested in that instead. So again, let's go ahead and get this out of the package real quick. All right, as far as what comes with it here, you do get two manuals. One will be on the reticle as far as zeroing. And again, mine is the Raptor M8. But if you got the other version, it'd come with information on that. And this has all your details about, obviously the point of references, zeroing, and also, depending on what caliber you're using, it has all the details here on how to use that. Pretty wild, all the stuff they built into this reticle for like sizing. Like here you can see like how tall it is, and then ranging. And then obviously for your holds, you have all the specifications there too. And they even include like 5.56, what's your barrel length, and what you should be doing with different ammo types. So don't throw this away. This is actually pretty helpful. I know you'll just head to the range and get it zeroed, but as far as trying to reach out for further distances, more accuracy, definitely helpful to actually read through this. So don't throw that away right away. The other one you get is on the actual optic. So like the hardware here, similar thing. There's actually a lot of cool stuff on this optic. I'd recommend reading through this. Main things to note though, it is high quality Japanese glass, which is always good. It does have auto live, which is kind of like shake awake, but it's Primary Arms version. So when you have the illumination on, which we're gonna talk about here, if it's off for 3 minutes, it will automatically turn off to save your battery. And then when you bump it or shake it, the illumination will turn back on. Not a lot of LPVOs have that, so definitely a plus on this guy here. Lightweight, good warranty, it talks about all that. Here it gives you a whole chart overview of all the different things on it. And again, I just recommend reading through this just so that way you understand all the different things on it. Other things that came with here, you do have a swappable turret for up top. So for right here, you can see this is screwed down, and we'll go over this here in a sec. If you like the screwed down and secure one, you can keep that on. If you want a exposed one, you can swap to that. So nice that they include it. They also include a sunshade, or I forget what it's called on the front here, but you can screw this on the front so that way you don't have shadow, or if the sun's coming in, you don't have the, I guess, glint on the end there. And then while we're holding the optic here, obviously you have your optic, but they also give you a very basic like bikini cover here, which I always end up just throwing these away. And then here is your actual optic. In addition to that, the other things that came in the box is a warranty card, which definitely should activate that because Primary Arms will stand by their products. And then a pretty decent sized cleaning cloth, as if we don't have enough of those already from all the different optics and red dots. Oh, and one last thing is the tools. They do give you the tools and some extra set screws here for the turrets. So if you need to adjust that, this will be nice to keep on hand. For the actual optic, quick overview here. So this is a 1:8 again, as far as the zoom. And one thing that's trippy about the Primary Arms optics is that it's reversed from a lot of the other ones. So one is on this side, and then you turn it to the, or clockwise, and then it will go to 8, and then you turn it counterclockwise to go back to 1. It does come with a cantilever already installed here, but do note that you can swap this out, and I actually should have ordered one of these. There is an optional flip up one, so I'll actually pick this one up. It's way better. Well, actually not way better. It's just pretty cool, because it flips up and down, and then you can rotate it and it's a little bit longer. So you can swap that out if needed. Through the side you look through, you have your focus here. So if you turn that left, that'll go plus or minus. So you can go ahead and adjust that. On the left side, we have our battery, and you can see the sticker here. But inside this battery door, you can go ahead and remove that sticker, and then you can use something like a bullet here to go ahead and loosen the battery door. Let's just confirm what type of battery comes in this. And opening it up, it is a CR2032, which is pretty standard for most optics here. Go ahead and put that guy back on. And then for the illumination then, since the battery does come installed here, it will turn on right away. And one thing that I do like about their illumination dial is that they do have offs in between each number. So for some, you'll turn it on to 10, and then if you want to turn it off, you have to like crank it all the way back to 0. Instead of doing that, you can see right here we are on 6, so it's on. But if you want to turn it off, you just go to a dash there and it's off. If you want to go to 7, you go to 7, and then it's off again. Definitely a nice feature instead of having to, you know, crank it that way, turn it on, crank it back. So just one thing to note. Up top, like I said, it comes with the enclosed cover here, so you can remove that. And then you have your dialing here, which I'll go ahead and click. Very audible, easy to tell those are clicks. But if you want, all you have to do is remove the screw here and then the screw here and loosen, and you can swap it to the exposed turret. And so instead it would look like this on top, and you don't have to worry about unscrewing this and then being able to dial. You'll just be able to dial right on top right away. Typically what I say, if you're just, you know, competition, precision shooter, this might be easier. But if this is like a duty setup, or maybe you're using this in like the tactical games, then I would probably keep this one on here so that way you don't get all that mud, dirt, and grime, as well as accidentally bump it off of what it's set for. On the left side, same scenario here. So if we unscrew the cap, you can then see that it is exposed, and I'll go ahead and click it again on this one. Very audible, easy to tell there. And then once you get that set, you can just cover it back up and you're good to go. Oh, and one other thing to note, for those who are new to scopes in general, to set your scope, there's the set screws that I talked about here. And this does have, I believe it's called a 0 stop. So what you'll do is you'll take this to the range, have it on your rifle, you'll get it zeroed in, and you're gonna click this a bunch and click that one a bunch. But on the side when you're zeroed in, you're gonna have a bunch of weird numbers. So all you have to do is use the tool provided. You're gonna loosen the screws here and here. This cap will come off. You're gonna turn it back to 0 and place it right back on to where your optic is actually zeroed. So that way then when you look at it, again, you would do all that, and then you look and you're zeroed, and it's gonna be at 0 here. So again, just for my newbies out there, that's how these actually work. Oddly enough, I've seen some people go ahead and dial it in, and then they just leave it like this. So when I went to use it, I was like, oh, let me go back to 0, and they were like, no, don't do that. And I ruined their 0. If you are gonna do that, at least take like a Sharpie and mark where, you know, that original 0 spot was, but you don't need to do that. Just reset the turret and you'll be good to go. Last thing is up front. Again, we have that shade here, or the sunshade, so you can just screw this guy in. Just gotta make sure it's lined up first. There we go. So you can screw that in. It just makes it a little bit longer. But now, again, if it's a very sunny day, you don't have to worry about the sun going into your glass and not being able to see there. I'll probably just get some, I think 100 Concepts has like some covers here. So I'll probably just pick some of those up and install that on the front and back instead. Next up, let's get our cantilever mount and our RMR top cap mount out of the box here and show you what this looks like once you get it all together. Sweet. All right, looks good here. And to get this mounted, this is where you need a level and some patience here, but for the video, I'm just gonna put this in loosely here so you can get an idea of what it's gonna look like. But when you're choosing what rifle to put this on, use a level for leveling the mount, also for leveling the optic, all to your barrel, so that way you don't end up with a optic that's canted like that or something weird. So use a level, people. But that being said, like I mentioned, I'm just gonna take this apart, get this adapter piece on, get it mounted in, just so you can see what this is gonna look like. All right, sweet. So there you go. Again, I didn't level anything, so make sure and level. But as you can see, I swapped out that front piece here for the RMR one, and I will be putting a Holosun 509T, I think it is. I think with the 509, it is high enough here where it'll get over this cap. Otherwise, I've heard of some people putting like a Holosun or a Trigicon on here, and it's too low, and this will cover up like half of the glass. So I think the 509 should be good, but whatever RMR footprint, you have that footprint here, so you can mount that to the top. And again, you can have a LPVO, which is a simple red dot offset. Last thing to note here is they do give you this big old guy here, and that's for torquing this down. I didn't see in the box here, or maybe I just didn't read far enough on what to torque this to. I'm sure online you can find it. I'll try and put it in the video here. Typically, I think 35 pounds is what you want to put this to your rail up top. And then also be careful torquing these guys. You do not want to over tighten these and crimp your tube here or break your glass. But I want to say it's like 20 to 25 inch-pounds. So just be very cautious. Do not over tighten these on your scope. All right, so again, this is what it'll look like, kind of a final product, and then once you put it on your rifle. But next up, let's give you a look down the glass. We have that nice Japanese glass, so let's see what it looks like, as well as the magnification and the reticle with the illumination. All right, we're back outside here. Let's first get a look down the PLX, and then we'll take a look down these other ones to compare how it does to this. All right, so first up again, we have the PLX on the mount here, and right now we are at 0 magnification, or just 1x, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn the illumination on to 10, so you can see in the center that did click on. And as a reminder, you can click it again and it turns off. Click it again, it'll be at setting 9, off, 8, off, 7, and so on and so forth. But for now, let's go ahead and crank it back to 10. Next, let's go ahead and zoom in, and I'm gonna call out as we zoom in. So right now we are at 1.5, and then now we are at 2, and then now we are at 3, and then now we are at 4, and now we're at 5, and this is where it goes quick then. We got 6, we got 7, and then we have it maxed out there at 8. And guys, the camera is not lying. The red in the reticle is wicked bright. Like, I thought it was etched in, the red, into this because it's so bright. And again, that's on 10. Let's dial it down. I'm gonna go back, like this is 1. You can see there's like nothing. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's when it actually kind of comes on more. And then let's go to 9 and then 10. So I do live in Texas and it is really bright out here. So I think only through like 8 through 10 is when you're actually gonna see a big difference there. As far as glass clarity, again, hopefully you can see on camera like those rocks up there. Again, that's 275 yards away. I'm pretty sure if we want, we could find like a cactus up there, identify it easily, and then, you know, make the shot. So very clear. And again, this is Japanese glass, so you can see the quality there. But let's go ahead and back this back down. Zoom back out here nice and slow so you can see. We're now at 3, let's go back to 2, and then now we are back to 1. One more time here, I'm just gonna go and like zoom through a couple spots here just so that way you can get an idea. So if we quickly zoom, there's all the way to 8, and if we wanna zoom back a little bit, here we go to 3, back to 8 again, and then we're gonna crank it all the way back down to 1. Pretty awesome, guys. So next up, let's swap over to the SLX, which is the more budget-friendly option. So now we are looking down the Primary Arms SLX 1 to 6. So this doesn't zoom in as far. I do have the illumination turned on. This is their Nova fiber wire, the green one. So I'm gonna turn it off. You can see off, then you turn it on, and then you can see the nice bright green dot. This is a second focal plane, so the reticle does not zoom as we zoom, which you'll see here in a sec. So, but let's go ahead and do that. So right now we're at 1x. I'm gonna call it out as we go here. We're now at 2, and then now we are at 3, and then keeping it going, we're at 4, moving on to 5, and then now we have it maxed out there at 6. Again, not a bad option. The glass quality is pretty solid in this, and it comes in at a fraction of the price. But when we have these side by side, I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera, but when I hold these up to my eye, I can definitely tell a difference of 1, glass clarity, and 2, the eye box for, you know, finding the right spot where you can actually see through the scope. The PLX is more forgiving, so the other one versus this one, it's a little bit difficult to get the correct eye box or in the right eye window. But either way, it's still a solid optic here. So let's go ahead, we're gonna zoom this back. I'm just gonna do some quick zooms here. So we're all the way back down to 1. Let's say we wanted to go all the way to 6 real quick. Then we want to go back down to 3, back to 6 again, and then all the way back down to 1. Next, let's go ahead and get a look down the Monstrum Archangel. Okay, so now we have the Archangel. This is actually it's a 1:6 LPVO, and it's first focal plane. Right now we're at 1x, and we do have the illumination on red turned all the way on. Let's go ahead and zoom in to compare this to the PLX and the SLX. So right now we're at 1, and then now we are at 2, and moving on we're at 3, and then now we're at 4, 5, and then now we're maxed out at 6. Bringing it back down, so we're at 6, now all the way down to 3, 2, and back down to 1. Again, for this being a budget optic, not bad, but I know the focus of this video is on the PLX, which hopefully you can see in a kind of side-by-side comparison or comparing each of these footages. The PLX glass and quality and eye box is definitely way better than these other ones. Don't get me wrong, these are still solid budget options, but if you got the money or if you need a super awesome, I guess, LPVO, then the PLX is definitely the go-to. All right, we now have the PLX back on the stand here just so you can get a final look at this. And actually what I'll do is on screen here, I'm gonna put all 3 of these side by side. We'll do a quick comparison of them kind of zooming in so that way you can see each here. Hopefully this video was helpful for you today. Again, final verdict here, if you need a top of the line, no compromise optic, the PLX Compact 1:8 is definitely a go-to. That being said, comparing it to the other 1:6 options, the SLX and the Monstrum, both of those are solid options too, and in a far lesser price range. So if you can't afford an optic like this, those would be good alternatives. But if you have a competition rifle, if you're in the tactical games, if you have a duty setup rifle, then I would highly recommend saving some money and investing in the PLX. And this is gonna be your go-to LPVO for, well, hopefully the rest of your life then. Again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the PLX or any of the other LPVOs on the market that we need to compare this to. And in the meantime, have fun shooting, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody.